Hi, everybody. This is Shalini Arora Kocher, and I'm back again with you guys for Wine Shine Quarantine. Shalini says women on top of their game. You know, the idea was to go on Facebook Live so that we could have had some live questions as well. But unfortunately, I think this is like the peak hour for everybody to be live and giving you some inspirational talks in the times that we're all going through sitting at home, and they know this is the peak hour when people are on Facebook, on social media. So I said, okay, never mind, let's record this and we can share it with you later, because today is like a really special day for me, because I have a very dear friend of mine who's a very accomplished woman. As you can see, I clearly make good friends, and I have the good fortune of having her on the show. She's an executive coach, she's an active speaker at all the women's forums in New York, she's a fitness enthusiast and really sought after. And for me, spending 10 minutes of the day with her is so inspirational and motivational. So I just sometimes insist, okay, just chat with me for 10 minutes. And today I'm sharing my 10 minutes with you all because that's all she gives me. Yeah, she charges otherwise. Garima, hi, and welcome on the show.
Hi, Shal. I'm just going to call you Shal. I can't call you Shalini. I've known you way too long to call you by any other name except the one I've used for, I don't know, 2 decades now. It is such a delight to be here and to share this screen with you. And I just want to tell you that you took all the words from my mouth. Those were my things that I was going to say about you. All those adjectives that you used for me, those were the ones that I was going to use for you. Highly accomplished, a coach, speaker, motivator of women, and my dear friend. Thank you so much for having me today. It's
So
very
now,
special, equally special.
so now that we've got rid of the formalities, and she's calling me Shal, I'm going to call her Gary as well, so you all can enjoy our camaraderie, because that's what we actually have. And what she said, thank you so much for what you said about me, Gary. But they say that we are not opposites, but I think when you are women like we are, we like to hang out with our kind of women, and which is the reason that she and me are such good friends, and we both inspire each other and rub off on each other's energy, which is absolutely awesome. Gary, I want you to share with everybody, because I've been with you, for a really long time in your life, and I've seen this whole change in you, and there's a whole different person that we have. I want you to share your turning point with people and your journey since.
Okay, thank you. That's a really good question. And I'm happy to share my journey, but I want to commend you on your journey first again, Shal. I've been with you for a large part of your journey, and I've seen your turning point. And from two girls who would hang out by golf club, walk and giggle and talk about inconsequential stuff, to two women who are now talking about how together we can work to elevate fellow women, how we can contribute, how we can give back, and how we can, I know it sounds cliched, but how can we make the women world a much better, inspiring space? So, first, kudos to your journey, my friend. I am learning from the best. So, I am honored to be in your company. Um, so my journey, I don't know, I'll talk about my professional journey because my personal journey might be too raunchy for this whole session. um, uh, the usual tick the boxes, business school, started my first job with Tata Consultancy Service, blah, blah, blah. I've been in technology sales, did global sales for a company for very, very many years. And that's when I was introduced to the North American market. I've been a geek all my life. The turning point for me, Shal, was I think it's called growing older, perhaps, about 10 years ago when I turned 40. And there was this kind of unease to the life I was leading. I mean, I'm blessed like you to have a fabulous life, but there was just that there was something that was missing, and that's something I later realized was fulfillment. And the fulfillment I found was not just helping myself, but helping others, really helping people have breakthroughs. You and I have been counseling each other for years. And the highest point for me used to be when you said something that lit a light in my head, and I hope vice versa for you. And the high I would feel. And I was like, how can I amplify that light and make it larger to affect not just my friends, but professionally? And so my journey began. I took a sabbatical. I went to UC Berkeley. I studied positive psychology. Then, I did the regular coaching. I did all the certifications of coaching from Ericsson, Vancouver. I then went to Columbia and I studied executive coaching program. And that for me was like the biggest achievement I had as far as coaching was concerned. And I went back to all my old clients all over the world, and I knocked on their door and I said, hey, I'm not selling a software, but I am selling a technique that can make you better and more effective leaders. Are you interested? And, I became a coach, so to say. I did choose the niche of being a corporate coach. I wish I would be more of a life coach, but as of now, I am only a corporate coach. And that's because that's my comfort zone. I've always worked with corporate America and corporate India, and I feel I'm comfortable. But like you say, and like all of us know, that to grow exponentially, we have to get out of our comfort zone. So soon, maybe life coaching. Who knows?
Gary, it's you obviously took it away because you knew exactly what I was going to say. So you took away the comfort zone bit. But
I know.
I have in person complimented you a lot of times on the person you've become, the coach that you are, and the way you conduct yourself, the way you speak, the way you cultivate your relationships. Everything is very unique about you, and I really admire and respect you. And I wanted to say this on this platform because it's going to be on recording, and I know you'll hold me to it every now and then when I'm fighting with you. But I do want to compliment you on the person that you are, and also what I actually admire about you is again a similar journey that you and me have both had, that we've been put in a global story and to make a niche for yourself, and also keep yourself busy away from your family while you're working. You also have hours when you're not working, so you have utilized those hours when you're not working beautifully. I know you've done some amazing stuff, and that's very inspirational because I have a lot of friends, let's say in New York and London and other places. I want you to share the after work hours because that's also
After
something positively you have used. So please share your after work hours with people.
Again, I'm going to share only some of the after work hours, Shal, because, it might become too raunchy for this show. Why are you putting me in this? Like, I got to hide stuff now? Okay. So, yes, that's a great question. So, I've reached a point in my life where I don't want to work 18 hours a day anymore. Of course, this time is unique. You and I both are working 18 hours a day suddenly because of what's going around in the world. But keeping that aside, I made this conscious decision to have some me time where I could focus on things that I wanted to do, but that were also linked to what I do professionally. So I've done a lot of interesting stuff. Even before I became a coach, fitness has been my passion. And I used to go to New York almost every month. And I've always done some kind of fitness certification. So be it Pilates, be it spinning, be it the New York City Ballet Institute, Bikram Yoga, I've done them, I've certified and I've kind of done them. You remember there was a time when I used to moonlight as a fitness trainer too, right? Amongst all the other things that we were doing. So that was one part. Recently, what I've started doing, one of the most exciting things that I did was to take an improv class, which was really interesting. It was a lot of fun. I did it in New York. It was 12 weeks. And then in a really shady nightclub, we did our performances. There are absolutely no video recordings of that, so don't ask for them. what happened that night is just going to stay in those dingy little bar room in Lower East Side, New York. It's not stepping out. So that was one. I did. I'm pursuing a philosophy degree from the Institute of the School of Philosophy in New York. And every spring, I go and do a semester with them, which is a contact semester. And then the rest of the year, I'm sort of studying online with them. Regrettably, I'm not there this time because everything is shut in New York right now. So apart from that, I think I take great pride in being a very exclusive guide to New York. That has been my pastime after work. I believe that I am knowledgeable of some of the most exciting but secret local spots of the city. I think I know pretty much which rooftop to go on which day for what kind of action. And I'm also been learning wine. So I'm a student of the Institute of Culinary Education in New York, and I've been studying wine. Well, don't ask me what I study. I pretty much go there to drink the wine, which is pretty exquisite. So, yeah, I would say those are my extracurricular, interview worthy hobbies. There are many more, you know them, but
Yes. You know, the reason I wanted you to share this is because people, when they move overseas, they feel apprehensive and they don't know what to do with themselves. I think that's not the right attitude to move into a place. You have to see what is it that you can take back from there. And that's exactly what you've done. And I especially wanted you to mention the wine and the improv, because these are things, you know, that we didn't have the luxury of having in India, which we couldn't do. You've gone there and, you know, of course, now we have courses in wine as well. But once upon a time we didn't have that opportunity, and today you went to New York and you utilized that time constructively, you know, which is all added to the personality that you are, whether it's going out in the evening and talking about the wines knowledgeably while I just look and say, okay, whatever you say. So I think you really constructively added to your personality, which is super. Now what I want you to do, Gary, is because I know that just a typical day in your life will inspire other women. Just share a typical day which would involve a sort of a diet routine, a fitness routine, the online courses that we are doing constantly to keep ourselves busy in these times of being home, quality time that you're spending. Just share a bit of a typical day in Garima's life.
okay, a typical day in Garima's life. Thank you for showing the interest. I just didn't think anybody be interested in my typical day, but thank you. Typical day in my life in these times, I'm focusing on the unique circumstances that we're all in, and we're all sharing these circumstances across the world. Um, so I work, I'm going to start from the night because I don't smile that way. I'll tell you the reason why I'll start from the night.
Okay.
I'm still working. I have clients in New York and I'm still working. So there's a large chunk of my night that I work. And I have my child in the US as well, so I'm connecting with him. So my day sort of ends at around 4:30 or 5 a.m. So that might be a little different from others, but my day then begins at 11. And because of the unique circumstances, and also because this is my habit, the moment I wake up, I indulge in a 15-minute to 20-minute, depending on time, meditation. So I meditate. I use various, you have encouraged me into a new meditation. Thank you for that, which I do in the evening, but my morning is still Headspace. I use the app called Headspace. I've been using it for years, and it kind of centers me more now than ever. I follow it up by 2 chants that a friend of mine has sent me, the healing chants. So I just listen to them. I'm not very good in my Sanskrit, so I'm not reciting them yet. And then I work out. So this is something interesting. Somebody asked me, you asked me, how are you going to use this period to grow? And we talked about the commitments we made with each other, if you remember that evening. I wanted to add to that commitment because I have gone back to my yoga guru, and he has given me 108 yoga lessons to commit to. And I am doing very advanced yoga. I mean, I did Birds of Paradise, which is a pretty complicated pose today, and I was super excited. I wanted to celebrate it with alcohol, but it was only 11:30 in the morning. So I do yoga. I do yoga for about an hour and 20, or I do a workout. I design my own workouts. And then I'm an intermittent faster, Shal, as you know. So I just get back to shower, get back to work, and work, I guess, and then have my first meal of the day at around 4:35 p.m. And then I have wine hours with my girlfriends. You and I do that once a week too. And then you've opened a bottle of wine, so you finish it, and you have dinner. And then I talk to friends in the US because it's morning there, and I walk up and down my apartment, getting my 10,000 steps, and really back to work, chatting with my son and everything. And I know what your next question is going to be. What do you eat?
You know that. For it. That's very important.
I was hoping you would say, who do you eat? But, oh, okay.
Yeah.
We'll just stick
Hello.
to what do I eat?
You do
Okay.
want it to be
What do I
controversial, right? We ain't getting famous if we're controversial.
Not controversial, but raunchy, I would say, but what do I eat, Shal? I'm an intermittent faster. So have my black coffee, and my first meal is at like 4:30 or whatever. And like I shared with you, my first meal is always a piece of protein, whether it's a protein shake or it's an egg or a piece of grilled chicken or whatever. And then half an hour later, I have my big fat meal. I eat everything. I had puris and mutton today. I will eat everything, carbs, whatever you put in front of me. And then my last meal is 4 hours later, so around 8:30, and I eat a protein rich but a little bit of carbs too, but heavy carbs like complex carbs, and I eat a small dessert every day.
Wow, wow. Garima, this is something, that I have to keep calling you every couple of days and asking because I have to stay on track. And the only way I do it is when I speak to you, I say, oh my God, I have to do it. I have to do it. If I've committed to Garima, I have to do it. Thank you for that. And that's the reason I wanted you to share it because it has all the ingredients. I know you've missed out one of them, which I will share with them because I know you're an avid reader. So you also take out the time to read a book, physical book, which is, I think,
Yeah.
a lot of people have stopped doing that, right? Between our Kindles and reading off the phone or reading off the computer. I think that old fashioned way of a physical book is something which you do and which you share with me, which you forgot to tell our audience. But she is an avid reader. And let me tell you, if you really want any recommendations for books, which I'm going to get her to give you by the end of the show, because we have a lot of time, all of us, do read, because that's a great habit to learn from Garima. Now, Garima, what I'm going to do now is that I know you think on your feet, and that's the only reason you're.
Oh.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And you're one of the women who I can put in the hot seat because I know you will have always something either inspirational or witty or naughty or something that people want to hear. So I'm going to literally give you 5 or 6 words, and I want you to just say what comes to your mind when you hear that. And
Okay, hold on. Do you want me to behave myself?
Whatever can be put online, you can say.
There's a wide variety of stuff that can be put online,
I
child.
know,
So
I
don't say
know.
that to me.
But because I was sure that you could be really naughty, I chose words which are not going to take you in that direction at all. So that you do. I know the show is called
You know
Wine
me too
Shine
well.
Quarantine, but after the recording, we'll open the bottle of wine.
Okay,
Yeah.
done.
Okay. So the first word that I want to say is because of what we're doing is success.
Happiness.
Okay. Happiness.
I want to give you the dirty version of it too.
Okay.
Sex twice a day.
I love that. Okay, I like that one. Next one would be what you are, star.
Oh, you put me on a spot there.
You would
But
have
I
said
would say
me.
rock. Rock star. I would say rock star. Or,
I would have said superstar, but rock star,
well, you know,
superstar.
somebody just mentioned to me the other day, this very dear friend of mine. I love her to bits. Her name is Alini Kocher, not Shalini, Alini. And she said, Garima, the world does not revolve around you. So I'm trying to be humble.
Okay, relationships.
Hard work.
Well said. Staying home.
Eye opening.
Awesome. Learning from quarantine.
I am a superstar.
Well done.
I know you asked for a word, but
No, no, no. This is good. I mean, mine also moved from a word to a sentence. So you had to answer back like that. But that's amazing. That's why I said you're somebody I know who will think on the feet and I can ask you these questions. Also, one thing, there's been a lot of people giving the same advice of working out and reading and doing, following your hobbies and doing all of that. So I don't want to leave people with that as the last thought. And I want to leave people with a little homework that everybody does, right? So the homework would be that, and you and me repeat this statement ever so often, and it's just kind of there in my head when I think of you, that we are the average of the 5 people that we hang out with, right?
oh yeah.
I want to leave the people with that and choose their 5 people, tomorrow and decide these are the people that they're going to hang out with. And I'm going to address these 5 reasons to you, Gary. You can actually name a person who could be a celebrity, or you could name a person in your real life that you hang out with and for the reasons that you hang out with them. So, my first one would be, who is the most interesting person according to you and why?
Okay, that's a great question. And I will have to dig into my bag of amazingly interesting people I have in my life. I will take only real life examples because you know me, Shal, I don't know any celebrities. It's like really hard for me, unless you're George Clooney, who you've told me I must sleep with. I don't.
Read my book.
I did read your book, and
I
I
did.
must sleep
I
with
did read
George
it.
Clooney.
I don't want to share him. I don't want to share him.
Well, I'm sorry, babe. You told me I take whatever you tell me very seriously. So I must sleep with George Clooney. But apart from that, celebrities are not really my forte. Uh, the most interesting person I know, I have to say, I mean, I have so many interesting friends who are doing such crazy amount of stuff. But I'm going to take the name of a very dear friend of mine in New York. Her name is Yao Hang. She introduced me to something called the Wonder Women of New York, Wonder Women dinners. And, I participated in the ones of New York. And it's basically a group of women that get together over wine and dinner. And it's a single conversation table. You know me, I'm constantly harping about one person speaking at a time. So she introduced me to this concept with women in New York. And I met some incredible people. But what I find interesting is the person who created it, because she is actually going to come on a stand up comedy special on Netflix. She's one of the craziest women I have met, the wildest person. She doesn't drink because we have this thing in our head that, oh, when you're drinking, your inhibitions go down and you have a good time. Yao doesn't drink, but she is the funniest human I have ever met. So I would say Yao.
Awesome. So my next one was going to be funny. So I hope it's not the same person because you said she's also the funniest woman. So I hope you can name somebody else who's the funniest friend that you've got.
Okay. The funniest friend, I don't know if she intends to be funny. You and I know and love her dearly. You know who I'm talking about. Yeah, don't you think so? I mean, she doesn't try to be funny, but just by being herself, Sujata, this dear friend of ours that you and I love dearly, she's funny. She cracks me up. And she's just naturally funny. Like all I have to do is pick up the phone and talk to Sujata or just watch Sujata.
Yeah.
And, it lights me up. And I mean it with utmost love and respect. But I think, yeah, she's the funniest. I would love to tell you stories about her, but you and I share those stories. So, we know.
No, we'll keep it crisp so that everybody can watch it.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
my third one, other than you, who's very well read, who would be a well read friend of yours?
Oh, other than me, huh? Can I
Ouch.
say aspiring to be perhaps? Um, I Yeah, that one stumped me. Can I get back to that
Yeah, sure,
later?
sure, sure,
On
sure. Okay, who would be a well traveled person?
remember anyone. Shal, I
Yeah.
lost you.
Oh, really? Hello? Can you hear me?
Yeah, now I have you back. You glazed over. I was like, oh my God, I am so boring. She just glazed
No,
over.
no, the
So
signal, because everybody's online. So the signal. Yeah, tell me.
okay. So the most well-read, apart from me, I'm trying to think. I'm just
No,
drawing a
I said
blank
the
right now.
most, I said, okay, we can go back to that. The most well traveled would be.
The most well-traveled, apart from me, would be you, my dear friend.
Okay, I made it to the top five in your list. Thank God for that. Oh my God.
Okay. I mean, of course, you've been there. And I wouldn't just say most traveled, I would say the most traveled with experiences.
Yeah.
Because you're not just going and touching a city and coming back. You are having unique experiences in each of the city, and you have incredible stories. I would encourage you to write your travel stories because they are so amazing.
Maybe,
So
maybe,
you,
Gary, I think you're such an amazing writer. Maybe you should write a book on you and me. And that would be
I
so
know.
much fun because we both have stories of our travels and the unique relationships we've made and the things we've learned and how we've grown. It would be such an interesting read actually to do that. Europe
Yeah,
and
but
US will be covered completely in that.
I am happy to do that, but you can't keep it PG then. It
No,
cannot be PG.
no.
Yeah. So as long as you're giving it an R rating, I'm okay to do it.
Let's do this. Okay, so we've got an
Okay.
agenda again, guys. But last but not the least, Gary, who would be the most inspiring friend that you have? I think I already know the answer there as well, but please share it with everybody.
It's again a dear friend of both of ours, a person called Prerna Kohli. Her name means inspiration. And ever since I've known her for the last almost 2 decades, I've said, "मैं बड़े होके प्रेरणा बनना चाहूंगी," which in English means when I grow up, I want to be Prerna. And I constantly learned from her. She was a rock for me when I lost my parents. And yeah, she's the most inspiring person that I know, the most
That is
inspiring
that
friend
is
that I have.
That is so true, Garima. And Garima, this has actually been one of the most stimulating sessions because, I love the rapport that you and me have. And before you leave, I want you to do two things. One, share the name of a book for everybody, that they can read while they're home. And second is a message to people. Um, I don't want them to feel low or anxious or depressed or any strange emotions like that at a time like this. So leave them with an inspiring message like our conversations that we have.
Okay. The book, so I've in this quarantine of 2.5 weeks, I've finished 3 books. For women, I would recommend a book called An American Marriage, which was phenomenal. I just finished it. I think I mentioned it to you as well. That's a highly recommended book. It's on New York Times bestseller list, top 10. So it's highly recommended. Beautiful writing. Message. I know the media is full of a lot of positivity. And like I told you, Shal, that I don't give advice unless, somebody
And
comes
we get paid
knocking.
for it.
So, so my message to all the women who are listening to, and some men, would be what you wrote in your book. if you must sleep with George Clooney, go ahead and sleep with him.
Well said. Thank you, my friend, for giving me all the importance during the interview. It was about you, but it's clearly about us. And that's what strong women do. We actually are there for each other. We've got each other's back. And that's the idea of women on top. We grow through interdependence. And thank you all for watching. Thank you, Garima, for being here. I want you all to leave with the same thought that I always say: be the butterfly. It's the end of 21 days. I want to see all of you to be butterflies, be legendary, stay home, stay safe. It's fun to be with family. Love you guys. This is ShaliniSays signing off. Garima, thanks again and catch you soon.
Thank you. Love you.